All I gotta say, guys, it is great to have Star Wars The Mandalorian back. What's up, YouTubers of the world? MegaGeekMixer here to give you guys my review on the first episode of Star Wars Mandalorian Season 2. And just, guys, when I first saw this episode, I was just like, man, I am happy to have this show back because I have missed it a lot, and I do mean a lot. But let me just say that this first episode kind of gave you the same sort of vibe feelings that you had for episode 1. The only thing is, it went up an even bigger level than compared to the first episode. What do I mean by that? You're probably wondering. Well, in the fact that, of course, like all the episodes of from season 1, they had some of that Western style feel to it, just in the Star Wars Galaxy franchise sort of way. Except this one felt real spot on Western style. It had a simple spot on Western style plot and of Mando being like that lone wolf sort of person who's on a quest, runs into a town, has a little issue with the sheriff, but they decide to put it aside and work together to take care of a problem to the town, work with local Indians, and the local Indians and the townspeople are able to work together to take down a common enemy. And what I'm trying to say is it was a very simple plot, and you would think that makes it boring, but no, not this episode. Oh, it just made it all that much more fun. Now, bear in mind, it didn't really move things forward going for the season, which is a bit of a downer, but not so much that it brings it down. It was still fun nonetheless. And I loved how they were giving so many Easter eggs to us as the plot went forward, such as in the fact that we see not Oh, was that a thing? Oh, yes. Sorry, guys. There's just so much. I wouldn't even know where to begin. But let's just start off in the fact that, of course, with the Easter egg of Mando seeing these green pigs, I forget what the name of that species is, but it did remind me of those guys back from Return of the Jedi from Jabba the Hutt, and in the fact that the marshal of the town in this episode had a speeder bike of a pod racer. He made it from a pod racer, which, if I'm not mistaken, seemed to look like Anakin Skywalker's, but that was years and years and years ago, because this is all during the New Republic era. And of course, we also got the return of a famous droid. That's R5. If you guys remember R5, he was shown to us in the New Hope. He was that same droid that Luke was going to buy before it burned out its motivator and took R2 instead. Oh man, that was so sick. And of course, there are many other Easter eggs. They even give us a little mention of what happened during the Battle of Endor and the aftermath, at least for the town that this plot takes forward in. And also, not to mention the fact that this episode, it takes place right on Tatooine, because it turns out Mando, as you guys know, he is on the search for the Jedi to return the child, who, by the way, guys, I am happy to see that little guy again. And I love how they can kind of reference that when he returned to Tatooine, he returned to that same mechanic woman that he visited in episode 5 of last season. And, yeah, because when she saw that little dude, she was just all happy to see it, and that's pretty much us. We were just happy to see the little guy. Now, downside is for this episode is that the child didn't really do much. He was just really there to look cute and see the scenery and see how everything is, which was kind of sad because I was really wanting to see him use the Force, especially on the main antagonist for this episode. But that's okay. That's okay. Either way, though, as you know, Mando's looking for Jedi, and he's looking to find some Mandalorians because he feels that if he can find some Mandalorians with a COVID, they might be able to help him find a Jedi so he can return the child. However, though, when he goes there to Tatooine and makes it to the town, which, by the way, on his way to the town, that speeder bike he was on and that child just having the fun as they're riding through the middle of the desert, or I'm trying to figure out what was the better right way to say it, but you know what? Just forget it. Either way, that was still a great shot right there, and also a good shot of seeing him go through the desert. Like I said, spot on Western style. But eventually, making it to that town, he finds out that the Mandalorian he was looking for isn't actually a Mandalorian. It's the Marshal who just has the armor, and not just an armor of Mandalorian, it's Boba Fett's armor, which is which is in itself a surprise. Well, maybe not really. One thing I do know is that when we were told that he was going to Tatooine to meet a Mandalorian, I was being like, that can't be Boba Fett because this is just too early. And it turns out I was right because it's a guy wearing Boba Fett's armor and not just and this guy it looks like he's a known character, which I took the time later on to find out about. His name's Koth, and he's actually a comic book character, which is why he's well known. Now, I don't know the realm of all the Star Wars franchise. I know some characters here and there, but unfortunately, I didn't know him until this episode. But nonetheless, I still like the guy and how he became the marshal of the town to protect the people from all these other people. From all these other gangs and stuff who wanted to take over the power vacuum that was left after the Empire was dead. Awesome stuff. Of course, though, Mando didn't like that this guy was wearing Mandalorian armor and not being a Mandalorian. No surprise there. They are a creed and stuff, very what's the best way to put it here? Sensitive, I guess you could say it, to people who aren't Mandalorians having their armor and stuff, especially during these times, because Beskar armor itself, it does belong to them, and they feel it should stay with them. But either way, they eventually came to an agreement that he'll return the armor if he can help them take down the local monster terrorizing their town. That's called a Kyrit Dragon. First off, when I saw that Kyrit Dragon, oh my God, I was just like, dang, what? That thing's huge. And I only was beginning to see how huge. Because as they were on their way to hunt it down, they run into the local Indians, that being the Sand People, who I've always heard the reputations, yeah, violent creatures, mindless and stuff. But here we were kind of seeing that they actually do seem to have some don't seem to be that bad. But of course, later on, when they tried to get the townspeople to join forces with the Sand People, Mando confirmed that yeah, they do hold up to their reputation, but they are men of their words, or at least Sand People of their words. I might want to put it that way. But either way, it was still interesting to see how they were making the local Indians be these Sand People here. And the reason they all work together because they have a common goal and taking down that dragon. And when they did finally get their chance to take down that dragon, this is where it led into an awesome final battle where the CGI and the action and the camera work all just done so beautifully right there. I mean, seriously, I couldn't stop staring at my screen. I was like, this is insane. Please don't make it stop because that's just exactly how I felt through it all. And then I even got some Godzilla vibes when that dragon actually spit out acid. I was like, so it's a projectile attack. I was almost going to say beam attack because, like I said, it reminded me so much of Godzilla with the whole beam attack there. But even still, though, also love seeing that work between the Sand People and the local townsmen, especially considering they all had animosity with each other. But then again, when you see a much bigger threat that's a common threat to your usual feuding people, you can learn to put that aside and see which one's the bigger threat that is. So it's good to know on that end. But of course, eventually, with the Marshal and Mando working together, first off, love seeing those two work together, even though Koff's not really a Mandalorian. It was still great to see him working together with the guy that I was just like, oh man, this is so cool. I was hoping they would kind of like All right, no, you know what? I'm just thinking ahead of myself. All I just know is it was cool to see, but the last part where Mando decided to end this fight in a Jaws way was really cool. He just like Brody from Jaws puts a bomb inside the mouth of that thing and then shoots it. And then shoots that thing in the inside to kill it from the inside. Oh man, that was so cool, but still, everything works out in the end. They kill the beast, and he gets Boba Fett's Mandalorian armor back. And it's funny how after that thing was killed, everyone was taking some of its remains as food. But hey, I mean, if you're carnivorous and this is a good way to stock up on supply food, hey, why not? I mean, I would have done the same thing. But I also noticed that those sand people ended up getting some sort of pearl there. And at first I was thinking, what is that thing? I don't want to know. But when I was researching this thing, that I found out that they have some pearls in them. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But either way, eventually Mando got what he wanted and decided to head on back to town where his ship is. But on their way, he was being looked at by someone else. And if you guys don't know who that someone else is, that guy was Boba Fett. So because when you think about it, we've never really seen a live action portrayal of Boba Fett. But now you guys see it for yourself, and it's clear he's about to get his armor back. So while we didn't exactly get Boba Fett in the way we were thinking we were getting, we ended up seeing him in this episode anyway. So it makes you really wonder what's coming in episode 2. I don't know, but I know I'm excited for it. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it all at that, guys. And hey, if you're enjoying my videos, all you got to do is click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos. And until then, MegaGeekMixer signing out. Bye!